Good evening, everybody. Okay, as we can see, the uptrend remains in progress for whatever reason, and that's usually a strong market trend is when there's no reason for it to go up, and it keeps going up. And the nice thing about this uptrend, as we can see, is they move it up, they consolidate, move it up, consolidate. So there's no exuberance in this market. It's just steady. As long as they keep taking profits during the uptrend, the stronger the move is. That there is no the profit taking occurring on the way up is kind of mitigating any over exuberance that might be coming into it. We can see the same scenario in the NASDAQ, where they move it up, consolidate, move it up, consolidate. So that's right. As soon as everybody piles in. So that's what usually happens is at some point everybody's going to keep saying, oh, this market's going to go up forever. When you start seeing them pile in and you start seeing those big days or that gap up in the overbought condition, that's when you get ready to start taking profits. Okay, that's the NASDAQ. The transportation index today at least gave us a doji sandwich up through the T-line. So the next logical target is right up here, and then the next logical target after that is going up to the 200-day moving average. So things like crude oil seem to be establishing a base price, amazingly enough, back in about the $45 range, where for years that seemed to be the kind of the average price of crude oil, and we're right back at that level. So crude oil moving sideways and stabilizing basically tells us it's not going down anymore. We've been long in coffee. I'm sorry, we've been short in coffee. We covered the short position, and then notice what it did when it hit the 50. Did a doji left-right combo to the downside. So if coffee opens weaker tomorrow, more than likely it's still got prospects coming back down to test this level. And gold, after the kicker signal, failing at the 200, still in a downtrend. Next likely target is right about in here at the bottom of this trend channel. Other than that, there's not a whole heck of a lot going on in the commodity market that's got any great charts. Hogs, as you can see, broke this trend channel and they slammed it. Now we're in the oversold area, and look how far away we've moved from the T-line. That's getting to be a good setup for looking for a buy signal. All right, let's see, back to crude oil. If crude oil looks like it's starting to base, that's essentially what's happening in Whiting. Notice how Whiting came up through the T-line and the 50 today after some bullish signals. Lots of dojis in here. Pretty much right here on this base trend. I would suspect the next move is back up in this range and at some point getting up to the 200-day moving average. So people that are looking at that for longer term holds, it's getting to the point where it can be bought on any positive trading from here. We've been trading WIN. Remember, just because you had signals, remember what you have to have as far as your signals. You have to have them confirmed. So right now we're in an uptrend. When does the reversal confirm? When you see a bearish signal confirmed. It wasn't even confirmed today. So yeah, just because you see a sell signal it still has to be confirmed. Let's see, the SPY, same scenario. Your first observation has to be you're in an uptrend. All right, you had a bearish engulfing signal in the SPY. So if it had opened lower, where do you think the first test would be? Back to the T-line. So we didn't even have that. So what's our predominant analysis? The uptrend remains in progress as long as we're trading above the T-line. So remember, you can see a sell signal, but unless it's confirmed, it's not. It's just a potential sell signal. Okay, some of the biggies like Netflix did kind of our. Let's make this bigger. Our McMuffin, Morningstar signals, another big day up through the T-line. Then you start seeing these doji sandwiches. It back and fill today, but that didn't really change the strength of the uptrend, and your stochastics aren't anywhere near the overbought area. So you are going to see down days in an uptrend. That's just somebody taking profits along the way. Amazon, there was the message, the doji gap up, next day bullish Harami. Make this big enough where we can see it. Bullish Harami, and notice what it hasn't been able to do. It hasn't even been able to close below the 3T line, let alone the T line. eBay used the T line as the support. Notice where we could see there was going to be some profit taking. We had a little hanging man, doji, bearish confirmation. Where do you think the next target was going to be? The T line. That's where they opened it today and immediately took it up. So what's that tell us? The T line is going to act as support, which means this now is turning into a J-hook pattern. We're still along BABA. There's the J-hook pattern. There's kind of a doji sandwich bouncing up off the 200. Right now, all you can do on this one is stay long until you see a sell signal. Now, this is one that if you didn't participate in the first move, there's your cup and handle with a Morningstar signal, slingshot effect. Now notice what happens. This is where the analysis of candlesticks improves the probabilities of identifying which way a trend is going. You can see there were strong candles all the way up. When the profit taking started, note how it was pulling back on indecisive trading, on dojis. Now what are we seeing? After 3 dojis, they're starting to take it back up. What's that imply? We might be in the classic, which is a fry pan bottom, strong price move, J-hook pattern. So if you miss this move, which was approximately a 10-point move, you're ready to start buying here because the implication would be that it's going to the $45 area. Same analysis on this headset is just same analysis on Weight Watchers as we have on eBay. As soon as I got back to the T-line, bullish engulfing. And so that tells us there's probably more upside. Kendai is one that you're going to keep on your radar. Notice what it's doing. It's bumping its head up here on the 200. Stochastics aren't heading down. I'd be ready to buy this one on positive trading, meaning if they can close this above the 200, you got a big J-hook pattern. I would suspect this could go up another 4 points from here, or basically about a 45% upside potential. Okay, Silica, kicker signal. Now where is it? It's above this resistance level. It showed us over the last few days of trading that the 50 is going to act as support. The T-line is going to act as support. They're still taking it up. I would suspect there's still another 3 to 5 points to the upside on this one. Tenga, we've had in the portfolio for a while. Just a nice steady eddy. Notice where this bounced, basically right off the 50-day moving average on a hammer signal. So if they've come up through a resistance level, what's the first thing what do they eventually do? They come back and test that resistance level to see if it's going to act as support. If it's going to act as support, where do you think the next target's going to be? The next resistance level. So that should be your target on Tenga. And this one is just enough to drive you to drink. ITCI, still moving up nicely, came back strong today, but basically they really couldn't close it below the T line. It was right on the T line. So had this opened lower and started trading lower, should have been closed out. The fact that they bobbled it a little bit and started taking it back up is telling you one important factor, that the T line's acting as support. Oh, thank goodness, Tressa. We were all worried sick. Is that for ITSE? Diane? Okay, all right. VTL is another one that's been thrown around in the chat room quite a bit. Make this bigger. You can see, well, let's make this smaller. You can see all this kind of slow curve, supporting on the 50, supporting on the T line. This one you just stay long. Yeah, itchy, I call it skitsy. You just, is Tenga a steady eddy? Bah. Well, what's happened here? No, I mean, you can consider it a steady eddy. I'd still put it in the framework of a J-hook pattern. A steady eddy is something that you can see is just slow and steady for a good while. We haven't even had that good while yet. And what else we got here? Oh, KPTI, we've got that in portfolios. Notice what it's been doing down here, kind of basing. And this is what usually happens when your reversal occurs. You don't get a lower low, you start getting higher highs, higher lows. I would suspect the next target is up here, but the ultimate target is up here, filling the gap. And, oh, as I said, wind was still heading up. How come this chart always gets so small? And MPEL, same industry, same, there's that J-hook pattern. At least figure it's going to come up and test the 200. Now this is where you want to identify the patterns and where they occur. This is rare, R-A-R-E, bullish engulfing signal, right smack dab off the 200. Came right up to the 50, pulled back, and where did it pull back to? Right smack dab on the T-line, and today they take it up. So what do you have? You've got basically a bobble J-hook pattern breakout. So if this is wave one, where's your next likely target? Right up here at the recent highs. Do this without that thing coming down. CLLS. When they start gapping things up, that's pretty much telling you they're trying to get back into this position with great enthusiasm. I'd look at CLLS as a 45 degree. Here's probably your first target. Then let me make this smaller. I think they've basically broke that level today, this downtrending channel. All right, CLL. I don't even know what CLLS does. But that one could really get moving back up into the $45 area. Okay, biotech. All right. Larry asked that one so we can do the double line. I guess I can do it now. Not really. I'm just looking at it as there's your left-right combo kind of cradle pattern. Hit the 50, pulled back, went through the 50, now used as support. Suspect this one's going to the 200-day moving average. TTPH, make this much bigger, has been basing for quite a while. You can see the slow curve, and today, notice how you had this wedge formation. And what happened right smack dab at the end of the wedge? Breaks out to the upside. That tells me there's new energy now, so you want to keep an eye on this one. That would probably be recommended for tomorrow. Whoops. I would be entering this on positive trading tomorrow with the expectation that there will be a 45-degree coming off of here. Remember, this started off with a message and then gapping up again. So they've gapped up out through this range. There's a lot of energy in that stock. There's the bobble on SUPN. Hit the 50 resistance level. Pull right back and notice what it's done on the T-line. Now, say notice what it's done on the T-line. Remember, nobody has the T-line on their charts. Very, very, very few people do. So it's not like everybody's watching to see what the T-line's doing. Most people don't even pay attention to it. We have the advantage of knowing that if you see candlestick signals at that level, that basically we've got the graphic depiction of what's going on in investor sentiment and the T-line acting kind of as a natural support and resistance level for investor sentiment. That provides a very strong combination for making sure you're in the right direction at the right time. Yeah, that's true, John, but yeah, we do have the advantage of seeing what's going on. Staples, this is your T-line crunch and kind of your bobble. Notice how they could never really close this back below the T-line ever since the big morning star signal. And notice what they did when they got to the 50. Today they went through. There's a little gap to fill up here. I wouldn't be afraid to be buying Staples on positive trading tomorrow. Okay, a few more that look good on the bullish side. There's your J-hook pattern on NEO. And notice where NEO, when it supported on the T-line, what did it do with this resistance level? It gapped up through it and continued. So that pretty much told us they weren't going to be resisting at that level anymore. Micron, you can see there's kind of trend channel. And the way you can see there's a trend channel, if you can just visually see a top and didn't get quite to the bottom, but you can, I bet you this one. Oops, there's all things. This is just working out nicely. Okay. Bah humbug. You can see there's kind of a trend channel up up to probably the next price move up, back up into this level. Get rid of that. That just makes you want to drink. NIO, at this point, you can be buying, but you have to be a lot more nimble up here. Let's take a look at a longer term chart. Yep. If you're buying because it's broken out, just be a lot more nimble. At this point, if I was buying tomorrow, I wouldn't want to see it trade back below the halfway point of this candle. Not necessarily close back there, but even trade back there, because if it has strength, it should be going in this direction. And First Solar had a nice gap up on Friday. Today, after some profit taking, they showed the buying was still there. I'd suspect this is in a J-hook pattern with more upside. Bold broke out nicely. There's a gap to fill up here. I'd watch to see if they can't take this right up to the moving averages. And ACAD, notice what this did on kind of a bobble. It did a kicker signal today, trend kicker. That's telling me there's more upside. I think you can draw a line right down through here, and it kind of broke through that level. So I'd be buying this one on strength tomorrow. And I think we did this one. Did I have it written down? Yeah, we did that one. On the short side, things that we want to look for are setups like this one had, where we had a bearish engulfing signal. You could see the dumpling top. You could see the doji that if it opened lower, you wanted to be shorting it. That one worked out exactly what the chart told us that we should be doing. So here's another one. AAC, big bearish engulfing signal, kind of a rounding top. I'd get ready to short this one on weakness, because any weakness would pretty much tell us this whole trend channel area is being breached. They could take this one down pretty hard and fast. Hain, there's that dumpling top. I wouldn't be afraid to buy or short this one on weakness. And Etsy, at rounding top, this makes for a very easy entry. I'd put a sell stop right here, right below today's low, because if it came down through there, it's pretty much telling us this resistance level is gone, that we're now in wave 3, which could take you all the way down into this area, which would be a good 45% move to the downside. And Psych, there's your little hanging man, evening star signal. Notice what they did today. They opened it higher and immediately started selling it off. This one's either going to come back here or back here, so you could be shorting this one also. Okay, that's about all I've got for tonight. Again, with the market moving with consolidation on the way up, that's telling us there isn't a lot of exuberance. This is just kind of solid buying. Always try to use trailing stops, especially if I'm in the overbought area. If I've got a position that's in the overbought area, I just put my trailing stop at the previous day's open, because if it comes back down through there, that tells me the bears have finally taken control. Vicky McMuffin is just a clever name, and I named it. That's why it's clever. For a morning star signal followed by a doji sandwich. I'm trying to think of which one it was. Here's KERX. There's kind of our Morningstar signal. Big down day. In this case, it had 2 indecisive days and a third day that brought it up. And then doji sandwich. So Morningstar signal, doji sandwich, or shorten it, it's a morning sandwich. We call that a McMuffin, which usually is followed by very good strength after that. Yeah, and I'm the Ikomuko cloud. I'm working on getting that presentation ready also, to kind of put it in an easy way to understand it. Mary, if that's a very good good analysis, except we don't know. This market was overbought here. It was overbought here. It was overbought here. It was overbought here. So just because a market is overbought doesn't necessarily mean it's ready for a reversal. This could be in another. This could be an uptrend for another 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days. We don't know. So don't let the market in general. That's why you want to use the analysis, what type of nature the market is in, or what the characteristic is. That's why I'm kind of pointing out that there's not a whole lot of enthusiasm or over-enthusiasm in this market. With the profit taking going on consistently, and then they keep moving it up, that tells us they're taking profits along the way, makes this a much more solid uptrend. Okay. With that, are there any general questions on candlesticks? You always lose money on this one. Well, right now, I probably wouldn't be trading cyber. If I was trading it, it would be short-term, long. But notice what it's been doing. And this is what you should take notice of on any chart that you analyze. It's been moving sideways, had a drop, been moving sideways. There's nothing here to tell me whether this is in an uptrend or a downtrend. So don't play it right now. Wait, it might be 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months before it starts getting into something that where you can identify the trends. So that was also kind of illustrated in Apple there for a while. Notice how Apple didn't do anything until we finally broke out, telling us where our next target was going to be, up here at the 200-day moving average. Rama, I'm still working on it. I put bits and pieces together every night. Yep, you could always look at the 20-day moving average as far as a guide. So anything that you can use visually on your chart to improve the probabilities, use it. Just don't put too much stuff on your chart. My late friend Dave Elliott of Wall Street Teachers, I'd tell him every time I looked at his charts, I'd get hungry because it looked like a big spaghetti bowl. He had so many moving averages on it. No. Apple. On a 5 to 10% breakout, at what price would you try to buy? Grandpa, I don't care what the breakout is. Let me see if I can figure out one. This was a breakout. I don't know what percentage it was, but I'm not interested on whether this was a 3, 5, 10, 20, 80% breakout. I want to see what it's going to do after the breakout has occurred, which, as we can see, was after the profit taking of the breakout, Amazon is still in an uptrend. So I don't ever use percentages to make a decision. I let the chart tell me what to do, because there's going to be charts that are up 100% that I'll get into because it looks like there's another 300% to the upside. Fix. Yeah, but the only saving grace you got right now on Fix is that it's above the T-line. You do need to see this turn around, but I'd still use the T-line as a, I wouldn't want to see it close back below the T-line. Okay, Jim, let's go ahead and do the double line. And in 3.8 seconds, do another double line. Okay. Just discovering the Parsar. I wouldn't know a Parsar if I fell over it. Let's see. My first target is filling the gap up here in about the 2150 area. That's on KPTI. Whoops. All you can do on Sumo is stay long until you see a sell signal to close back below the T-line. QSIQ, CSIQ, this one I wouldn't be afraid to be buying. There's that little slow curve using the T-line as support. I'd buy this one on positive trading. At least you know they're going to come up and fill this gap, which at least puts you in the right direction. Mac, maybe I made these two. Mac, I wouldn't be trading this one. There's no direction to it. And Potash, bah humbug. Potash, if I was short, this is where you put your sell stop, that if you were rolling over, it shouldn't come back up through the open of the previous day. That's where my stop would have been, because if it comes up through there, where do you think it's going to move to? Right back up to test the T-line. If it fails, you can always reshort it. But if they have enough strength to bounce up through the previous day's open, you want to be out of a short position. ISIS, got the J-hook type pattern, couldn't get back below the T-line. I think we did VTL. VTL, you continue to hold this uptrend. Yelp. Yelp, that's another one that I wouldn't be trading until it breaks through this downtrending channel. As you can see, there's no direction to this one. Bed Bath & Beyond. I'd buy this one, not because the chart looks good, but Christmas is coming, and Sandy just spends more money in that place. Jiminy Christmas. I don't know why. I only take a bath once every 2 weeks, whether I need to or not. But this one's setting up nicely. This is your setup for a day trade. If it opens positive tomorrow, after doing a doji sandwich setup, and opens positive, it's telling you the 50 is not acting as resistance, you should have another big day in this one. Coach, just stay long. Notice the T-line's acting as support. EXAS, another one you can be buying. The bullish Harami confirmed. There's your first target. There's your second target. There's your third target. Fill in the gap. Cypress, just stay long on this one. Once again, an uptrend that's been using the T-line as support. And baby, notice a little morning star type signal, slow curve. I'd be buying this one on positive trading. There's your gap up. There's your 45 degree. And XLV needed to get up through the 200. It just barely did. I'd be buying this one on positive trading and then make sure it stays above the above the 200. EEP, almost a McMuffin, but you do have the left right combo here. Let's make this bigger. Then a doji sandwich that broke you out through this range. There should be more upside to this. VRX, I'd still stay short until if it came up, if it opens positive and trades above today's high, I'd close out any short position with the anticipation they're going to bounce it back up to the T-line. There's that slow curve. This is one I wish I had found, or somebody pointed this one out 2 weeks ago. Notice what it did on the slow curve. It gapped up through the resistance level. These are the type of charts that I always look for because that's the expected move coming out of a slow curve pattern. It's a big price move. And Fold had a big day today. This one you can be buying, expecting it getting up into the gap area, probably testing the moving averages. ACAD, that was a trend kicker signal. Kroger, still not real impressed with this one until they break out to the upside. You can see you're stuck in a sideways channel. Starbucks, getting a little bit toppy up here. Very simple. This one has to stay above the T-line to stay in it. ESPR, that had a nice little breakout today. Look for it to come up to fill the gap, which would be right here at the 50-day moving average. HRTX, there's your kind of your double doji. Now you watch to see how they open. If they open this lower tomorrow, I'd take profits. That tells you they are failing at the 50. Doesn't mean you can't get right back in if it comes up through, but if they open it lower, I'd probably take some profits, expecting a bobble here for the next few days. AM backed off a little bit, back to the T-line. I'd watch for a bobble here, which would be part of this wave 3, wave 1, wave 2, going into wave 3. MPEL, nice slow curve, heading for the 200-day moving average. KERX is the one that had the McMuffin. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. And FLDM, there's your best friend that broke this downtrending channel. Stay long on this one. At this point, if you own it, use today's open as your stop. It shouldn't come back through there. If it is, they're coming back to test the T or the 50. Flamel, maybe Flamel. This one, get ready to buy in positive trading. Expectation coming back up to the 50. Blackstone, nothing. I wouldn't be long or short this one. Just no direction to it. ETN, stay long on this one. You can see the big rounding bottom moving you into an uptrend. Krispy Kreme, is this Krispy Kreme? Or maybe not. Little doji sandwich up through the 50. You can buy this one on positive trading with the expectation that they've broken the resistance level at the 50 and this resistance level, making the 200 your next likely target. You have two most favorite favored signals, like gig, the slow curve, and shoot, I would say the best friend after that. Followed by the left-right combo or a fry pan bottom breakout. There's about 5 or 6 that you could trade consistently. Win, there's a slow curve, as you can see. Once they hit the 50 and pulled back, they went through the 50. That's a good possibility that they could be heading for the 200. Tesla. Tesla is a hard one to trade right now. It's reversed today, but not with a reversal signal. So I probably still wouldn't be long Tesla. If I had been short, I would have closed out when it came back up through yesterday's or Friday's open. FXI. Another one that if I was short, I would cover the short on a positive open and then just see what it does once it gets to the T-line. FedEx, using the T-line as support, I would suspect that eventually it's going to the 200. And Loco, let's make this a little bit bigger. Loco, a good chart, but it's also got this little resistance level that if you're buying on positive trading tomorrow, make sure it stays above the 50. But it would have to open positive tomorrow. G-Pro, nothing here. If you're short, get ready to cover it on a little pop. But there's nothing in G-Pro that would make me either want to be long or short right now. Valero, just stay long. You had a doji sandwich that broke you out of that resistance level. And Bidu, just stay long. Big fry pan bottom. And they gapped it up through the beginning of the fry pan bottom on a trend kicker. Now they're through the 200. Next target is filling this gap up here. Just stay long on this one. Estee Lauder, kicker signal. You can buy this one on positive trading tomorrow. Let's see, did we do EXAS? Yes, you can buy this one. We did Netflix. Soro, just stay long on this one. FEYE, you stay short, but if it opens positive tomorrow, especially if it comes up through the T-line, you cover it. Because you're now in the oversold area with a bullish signal. I'd expect any positive trading tomorrow to definitely start covering your short position. BIIB, trend kicker off the 200. I'm sorry, off the 50. Making this your next target. Axoma, you can be buying this fry pan bottom breakout. Let's make sure, I think this one has good volume to it. INCR. There's your piercing signal right at the support level. Now in bullish Harami, gap up through the 50. You're right on this resistance level. If you are long, you stay long. Just make sure it can get up through that level. Okay, Morningstar signal on Arna. Yeah, see how they open it tomorrow. I do BCRX. Stay long on BCRX. Noble almost got to the 200 today. I'd still stay long on this one. You had that doji sandwich breakout of this level. Didn't quite get to the 200. I imagine they would keep going after it. XIV, you can stay long on this one. Not a real exciting chart, but it should eventually get back up to the 200-day moving average. CPA. That's a good-looking chart. Wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Your first target would be back up here to test this level. Your second target would be to fill the gap. Your third target would be the 200-day moving average. And ESRX, after the big bullish, you had, notice all the buy signals here. Bullish Harami, close above the T line. Long-legged doji, followed by a bullish engulfing signal above the T line. I told you there was lots of indecision going on here. Now they've told you the decision. They're taking this one up. An ALGN, you can see obviously supported right on the T line with a Morningstar signal. You can be buying this one on positive trading, also using the T line as your stop. CZR, broke out, look for a 45 degree to come off of here. FXC, you stay long, you don't want to see this close back below the T line. This is the Canadian dollar. You can stay long on this one. What do we do with the US dollar? We didn't even look at that. That one seems to be supporting back at the T line again. We did NEO, right? NEO, you stay long. Navi. Navi, you can buy this one on positive trading. J-hook pattern. Wave 1, wave 3, getting you pretty close to the 200-day moving average. TRN. I would suspect if this opened positive, breaking this downtrending channel, that your next target is back up to the 200-day moving average. Under Armour, nothing here to get excited about. As a matter of fact, you're probably better off shorting this one on weakness tomorrow, because that would be kind of your bearish J-hook pattern, probably taking you back down to the 200-day moving average. EWC, nothing to get real excited about. I probably wouldn't be long or short this one. Only reason to go long is if it broke this downtrending channel after a buy signal over the next few days. FXI, oh, we did that one. Yeah, I wouldn't, probably wouldn't be trading this one at all, but at best I'd be short, or I'd be ready to short it if it came back down through today's open. TCK, nothing here. It's basing. I wouldn't be short at this point. Wouldn't be long either. CSTM, this one you can be buying on positive trading. Just watch to see what it does at the 20 and the 50. Parabolic SAR. I still would know parabolic. Grandpa, you might have had to have logged off and logged back on. You were lucky enough to get the echo tonight. Trend kicker on Acadia to stay long. HLTH, Morningstar signal. I don't know what the volume is on this one, but I wouldn't be afraid to be buying this one. Notice how you've had kind of a flat trading, and then the Morningstar signal acts like a little scoop pattern. buy this on positive trading. I would suspect they could get right through the 20 because your stochastics is still low enough, which means your next target would be the 50-day moving average. Las Vegas Sands, look for it to go to the 200. AM, definitely need to see it open positive and staying above the T-line. If it fails or if it opens lower, you close it out because that means they failed at the 200 at the second time. And if they open it lower, it means they're probably coming at least back to the 50 and your stochastics would be turning back down again. AQXP, nice slow curve. I'd be buying this one on positive trading tomorrow. Ago, you can be buying this one, the J-hook pattern, and you can see where it's supported right smack dab off the 200-day moving average. Oops, that one's not coming up. That's something to do with the connection, not link or the symbol. New link, just stay long on this one. Just watch to see what it does at the 50. Oops. IASR is not coming up. If it was Tazar, I still wouldn't trade this one way or the other. Just no direction to it. Newmont, all you can do with Newmont is stay long as it stays above the T line. You're still in the, as long as you stay above the T line, you're still in that uptrending channel. Bullish Harami, break out of this level. Watch to see what it does at the 200. Brunswick, I'd stay long on this one. Expect a 45 degree after this big move. Grandpa, no. Don't care. We're not buying the moving averages. We're buying the signals. Oil bottomed. I don't know whether it's bottomed. It may be still in the bottoming stage. It just starts moving sideways. Yeah, right now we're not long or short crude oil. Array hit the 200. Now this is anytime you see a stock hit the first target, go to your 10-minute chart and see whether they're able to go through or whether it's going to start backing off. That's where you usually want to start considering taking your profits because that's probably where everybody else is going to take their profits. MLNX, all you can do in this one is stay long as it doesn't close below the T line. And CLG, you can stay long as it stays above the T line. TRMB, look for a 45 degree to come off of here. And UHS, after the big belt hold, bullish engulfing type signal, then a doji sandwich, stay long, but watch what it does once it break. If it can break this little downtrending channel, then you have to wait and see what it does at the 50. Let's see, we did the US dollar. It doesn't really have a dynamic trend, and it seems like it pulled back to the T line and is bouncing up off of there. But I wouldn't be trading the dollar. The chart just doesn't have any dynamic to it, telling us which way it's planning and going. Okay, down to the last few. General Motors, you can buy this J-hook pattern. AMBA, I wouldn't be going long until it comes up through the T line. And probably another one though, when I came up through yesterday or on Friday's open, wanted to cover any short positions because you're in the oversold area. You're starting to see some strength. 45 degree is usually, I think which ones have had a 45 degrees is usually when they break out of a pattern, then they'll do a steady 45 degree up from that level. Avis, notice it gapped up through this wedge with your best friend signal. I'd stay long on this one. The Russell 2000, still an uptrend, possibly going to the 200. And Swift, yeah, if you like it, you can stay long. Has a little trend kicker. Just be diligent once it gets to the 50 to see if it can get through that level. Okay, we're done early tonight. Mario, I know I changed all my clocks on Saturday night. When I woke up at my normal time, got up, or the clock said it was time to get up, went out in the kitchen, I was still an hour ahead of myself. Yes, you can be shorting Under Armour on weakness tomorrow. Fit, I think, got hit big time after hours when they announced their earnings, but they also announced a lot of the stock that was now able to come to market. It was coming to market. Oh, you don't change. Is there a place on your website on how to pick options? As far as picking an option per se, remember, an option is just a method of buying the stock. I am working on videos to show which option strategies work best with specific patterns, or which strike price to go after based upon the type of pattern that's developing. Yeah, that's was it. They on Fit, they just got crunched after hours. Weeklies or monthlies, Dave, that's up to each individual. I don't trade weeklies only because I don't have time to follow them, so I'm usually trading the monthly. So any options I'm trading right now are November calls or puts. So with that, all right, thanks, Robert. Okay, we'll see everybody bright and early in the chat room tomorrow. So we'll see everybody then.